morning. How's it going? What's everyone doing? I know I got on a few minutes early, so I'll take it slow for the people who expect it to be at 8:30. I'm a couple moments ahead. Hey, Renee. Alright. Oh, come on. Don't tell me you're full already. You are. Oh my goodness. We are coffee fiends in this household. Always full. Hi, yeah, I can say hi to you. Hello. Hey Liz, welcome to your first book club of the week, it feels like. It's what it feels like. I don't know if it's true, but that's what it feels like. Okay. Good morning. Do you know what's funny, you guys? That silly video yesterday where I was like opening that slime and I didn't even get into the slime yet has almost 1 million views. Only because people got so mad that they were like all arguing in the comments about how long the video should be. I was like, wow, thank you guys for making me a crap ton of money by arguing with each other. Almost 1 million views on a video that doesn't even have the slime open in it. And do you know how much coffee that many views pays for? It's great. It's great. I love it. We're so close to 500,000 followers. I know, I am close to 500,000 followers. It's true. Maybe one day I will turn into the person who has to make that table slime for Renee. I know that's what she's waiting for. She's waiting on bated breath. Renee is waiting for me to hit 500,000 followers because as soon as I do, I promised her I would make slime with no tools and just my hands on a table. And that was before the floor slime trend. Renee was ahead of the curve. Everyone thinks that these kids came up with the floor slime trend. No, Renee came up with the floor slime trend. Renee came up with it. And I will die on that hill. I will not back down. Hey Ray, how's it going? Yeah. And then I told her that if I hit 500,000 followers, I would make slime with just my hands on a table. That is what I promised her over a year ago at this point, I think. But as of yet, we have not hit 500,000 followers, so I still got to keep my table clean. Morning, Avery. Renee, you were really ahead of the curve with that request, I have to say. Morning, Brittany. How are the parental units? And a kiddie pool. Yes, I will buy the kiddie pool if I hit 500,000. Yes. I saw someone make slime on a shaggy carpet. That I will not do. I have never promised to do that. Can you make a video where you make slime without glue? No, I'm sorry, honey. Unfortunately, that's not physically or scientifically possible. Good morning, Stephanie. Can anyone clip notes from yesterday? Yeah, Ray, the clip notes from yesterday are that Lucy accidentally got guided by a wall goat into Mistress Mara's office, And then Harriet followed her in there and tried to tell on her to Mistress Mara. And when Mistress Mara came, she was going to punish Lucy, but Lucy was like, I'm sorry, I just have a penchant for trouble. Like, trouble finds me. It's my specialty. And Mistress Mara was like, well, that's cool. And I guess you didn't know better. And then she freaking turned Harriet into a lynx and sent her out into the garden for 100 years of punishment. But it was a wall goat, right, Priscilla? I mean, like, I didn't know what else to call it. You can't nap without feeling guilty now. Yes. It was a wall goat. It was a drawing of a goat that guided Lucy into Mistress Mara's. I feel bad for Harriet, too. And by the way, I'm so sorry. I might be pronouncing it wrong because it's not spelled like normal Harriet. It's spelled Harieiet, like Harriet or something. But I just say Harriet because I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it was. I had to work it into a sentence today, Ren. Please do. Please work wall goat into your sentence today. I was supposed to teach at the San Diego Fair today, but no longer am. Why? What happened? That's not good. We're going to go to the farmer's market today when this is over. It's a nice sunny day, and I'm going to hope that my pluots are back. Maybe they're back in season. They've been gone for months. A new seamless design with you in mind. Really? What's that for Becca? I rename characters on accident all the time. I will make a video and do a shout out to you. Okay, no problem, sweetheart. No problem. Headed to Comic-Con. Whoa! Which one? Seattle? Is there a Seattle Comic-Con? Is that what's going on? I'm just guessing based on location. I don't actually know. Has he done the audio version? We would know how it said. Good point. I don't know. That's a great question, Becca. It's a great question. I do not know. Probably. You probably did. You love Comic-Con? I've never been to a Comic-Con. Puyallup. You know, we used to go to the Puyallup Fair when I was a kid. Yeah. They didn't check to see if the stage is accessible, and guess what? It isn't. That's terrible. It's at the fairgrounds. Yeah, when we lived in my temperature here, I don't know, probably like 65. I can't tell without getting off of the live, but I'm guessing like 65 probably. It'll probably get up to 70 or 71 today. Oh yeah, what do you play in band? Off topic. I gotta talk to my friend basically. Aw, that's amazing, Naisa. So sweet. I have the same frother and mine comes out liquid. Uh-oh, what are you using in it? Drums, very cool. I want to be a cool chick drummer. That'd be awesome. Oh my god, it's 95 here. I will not be taking part in that. Oh yeah. This is definitely warmer than, cooler. Yeah, good job. 67. It's 67, so I guessed right. Wow, look at me. I said 65, but I think it's gonna get to 70, so it's pretty good. Creamer and milk, so I might be doing something wrong. What kind of milk? It is more difficult to froth thinner milk. So if you're using skim milk, that might be your problem. Try putting in whole milk. Yeah, it's not great, Anya. It's not great. They really should have checked that. 2% whole milk. That should work. I would call them because that's weird. That should work. I don't know. That's very strange. Does anyone have any ideas of why 2% milk might not froth? 2% definitely froths. I've used it. Is it real milk or is it like almond milk? The milk is broken. The milk is broken. The milk is broken. Okay, well, the milk is broken. 83 and humidity. Excuse me, I have hiccups. Luckily, we do not have humidity where I live. That is one of the greatest things about California is that we do not have humidity. I want to finish this book duet I started this weekend, but I don't know if that's going to happen. What is it? Excuse me. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I have the hiccups all of a sudden. I'm so sorry. I need them to go away so that I can read. Ugh. Would be really nice. It's already 92 here, and I'm going to be a mermaid for my birthday today. Aw, that's exciting. Happy birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday today. I'm glad we already did your birthday slime. Yeah, your heat is way more tolerable. It is. The heat here is considerably more tolerable. I personally believe, and not everyone feels this way, even like 100 in dry heat feels better than like 85 in humidity. Are you reading anything outside of book club? Yes. I'm always reading at least 3 things at once. I always have our book club book, an audio book, and my bedtime book. And I kind of rotate on bedtime books. Right now, my audiobook is called The Charm Offensive. It was recommended to me by a friend. It's like it takes place on the set of a fictional version of The Bachelor, and it is something I'm reading because in Pride Month I'm trying to fit more LGBTQIA writing into my reading. So I always try to branch out a little bit and do a little bit more of that. So this is 2 guys in this particular book. I always see your books on Insta and I'm like, she's zooming. It's true. And then the other book that I'm physically reading is an arc. It's called Finding Home. And I actually have to say, as far as arcs go, it is just about the best arc I've ever read writing wise. Like, this author she's on point with her writing compared to most arcs that I've read. Yeah, dry heat's way better for sure, for sure. So that's good. By the way, how was Archer's voice? I liked Archer's voice. It was, I feel like there were some things in Archer's voice that were a little too gotcha, I don't even know how to describe that. I'm not describing it right. My brain's not fully turned on yet. I feel so out of the reading circle by asking this, but what's an arc? No, don't worry. I didn't know until earlier this year, Whitney. Please don't ever hesitate to ask questions like that. I truly, if you would have asked me in January, I would have had no idea. It wasn't until I published my book that I even had any clue what that is. An arc is an advanced reader copy. So it's when someone is about to put out a book and they're looking to get reviews ahead of the release to help bump up their book on the charts and have people know ahead what it is. So it's when you find someone who likes to read your genre that is a quick and well, they're supposed to be a quick and efficient reader. I read really fast, so I'm a really good arc for a lot of people because usually you have to do an arc within a week, and a lot of people can't finish a book within a week, but obviously I do. So I'm a good arc for a lot of people, and then you give a review ahead of the release of the book. And usually the arcs are given out a week or 2 ahead of the release of the book with the intention that, yeah, how is your book coming along? Poo poo caca. My current book is not going well. I am having big struggles right now. Yes, big struggles. Too many struggles. I'm mad at it. We're in a fight, my book and I. Yeah, no problem at all, Whitney. And it's a fun thing to do. The only books I ever finished in a week was Archer's Voice. Yeah, I finished Archer's Voice in like 2 days. That one was really good. Brittany was actually the one who suggested that to me. I will be doing arcs. I did not know about arcs when I released my last book. I wish I had. I would have given it to all of you and had you all do it. Didn't know about that. I will be doing arcs for my next book for sure. And I would love everyone in book club to be a part of that. Cool, just got told Sasha's live. Who could have guessed? Oh, fantastic. Well, guess what, you guys? I'm live. This is brand new information, especially for Becca. But yeah, anyway, that's what an arc is. That's TikTok for you. If I don't do anything else in a day, I can finish a book in 6 hours. Yeah, just about. That's about right. I probably would have finished Prince of Oregon in a week if I wasn't worried about ending it. Yeah, I've been that way before too, where I've prolonged a book because I love it so much. And I love that you feel that way about my book. That makes me really heartwarmy in my soul. I read really fast and love reading anything set in front of me, so usually I can look at, yeah, you should, Whitney. I would just, the best place that I've found to get them is actually Facebook groups. Facebook authors still heavily use Facebook groups. Search for groups called like Authors and ARC readers, ARC readers. And people post theirs there all the time and they say, hey, this is what my book is. I'm looking for people like this. If you're into this type of book, sign up. And you won't always get chosen, right? You know what I mean? Like it's a crapshoot kind of, but it's worth giving it a go. Do you know what book I absolutely loved recently? It's called No Tomorrow. Who wrote it? I don't know that one. I also just got a notification that you're live. I don't know what TikTok's problem is. This is why people are late to book club sometimes, because it's notifying them so late. Makes no sense. Good morning. Oh, I love that shirt on you. You're welcome. It's a great shirt. I feel like you haven't worn that shirt in a while.
I guess not.
It's nice though. I'm good, Gothy. How are you? Everyone is saying good morning to you. All right, so let's get into it. Carrie and Cole. Oh, cool. But if anybody has any questions about, you know what? That's scary but cool, Gothy. It's scary but cool. Very cool. If anyone has any questions about arcs and stuff like that, you can always message me and we can talk about it. But yeah, so anyway, let's go ahead and read chapter 8. Chapter 8 is called Jinxes and Hexes. At 6 o'clock in the evening, the taxidermy clock in the entrance hall erupted with a blood-curdling roar to wake everyone in Ravencrest Manor. Lucy was already wide awake and anxiously pacing around the witch's bedroom floor. The events in Mistress Mara's private study played over and over again in her mind, and each time she watched the scene unfold, the more questions and fears she developed. Why had old Billy sent Lucy to Mistress Mara's study? Was the goat trying to show her the closet of jack-o'-lanterns, or was there something else Lucy had missed? Did Lucy actually recognize one of the carvings, or was her exhausted mind playing tricks on her? And now that she saw how Mistress Mara punished her students, was Lucy foolish for staying at Ravencrest? Or was it more dangerous to leave and risk disappointing that witch? As her concerns rose, Stitches, Phoebe, Sprout, and Pip rose too. The witches began to yawn and stretch in their nests as they slowly stirred to life. Good evening, everybody, Pip said. How did you sleep? Blissfully, Phoebe said. Like a log, Sprout said. Well, I had terrible daymares all day, Stitches declared. First, I dreamed I was swimming in an ocean full of man-eating sharks. And then I was chased up a tree by a pack of lions. And then I was plucked out of a tree by an enormous hawk. And then the hawk dangled me over the open mouths of her hungry babies. Wow, I'm really sorry, Stitches, Pip said. That doesn't sound very restful. What do you mean? Stitches asked with a wide grin. It was the best sleep I've had in months. Lucy's tired eyes darted back and forth between her roommates and Harriet's empty nest. She didn't know how she was going to explain what had happened to Harriet, and she worried the witches might blame her for it. Lucy felt like she might explode if she kept the news to herself for even another moment and decided to just get it over with. Hey guys, something horrible has happened, she blurted out. Stitches, Phoebe, and Sprout seemed rather excited by the announcement and scooted to the edges of their nests. Did we get termites? Did my dolls move while I was asleep? Did you make your own fertilizer? No, and gross, Sprout, Lucy said. It's about Harriet. Last night I couldn't sleep in my nest, so I went looking for another bed, and I accidentally wandered into Mistress Mara's private study, and Harriet followed me inside. She thought I was spying for fairies and tattled on me. Mistress Mara left me off the hook with a warning, but she turned Harriet into a lynx for breaking the rules. Pip shrieked, but the witches were disappointed by the news. Well, Lucy pressed, one of your friends is going to spend the next century as a big old cat. Doesn't that concern you? The witches exchanged smiles and giggled at Lucy. No, not really, Phoebe said. Mistress Mara turns students into lynxes all the time, Stitches said. It happened to Deidre, Collie, Wizabeth, and Jarella, Sprout listed, and Flincher, and Dogatha, and Hogatha, and Smuggles, and Camilla, and Pandy, and Hyena, and Rat Mary. Ooh, Rat Mary, did you guys hear that? Rat Mary, we know Rat Mary. She gets the point, Sprout. I'm just bummed that I didn't get to see Harriet transform in person, Stitches said with a frown. It always makes me warm and fuzzy on the inside when someone becomes warm and fuzzy on the outside. Who put her down in the lynx pool? Sprout asked. Stitches pulled out a large board from behind her nest, and the witches inspected the colorful chart drawn on it. Ah, man, Sprout moaned. Baby wins again. She always wins, Sprout groaned.
How does she do it? It's a gift, Phoebe gloated. Now pay up, witches. Sprout and Stitches begrudgingly handed Bibi a few gold coins each. They were betting on how long it was going to take Harriet to get turned into a lynx. Little brats. Terrible. Lucy and Pip couldn't believe what they were seeing. Do you guys make bets on who you think is going to get cursed next? Pip asked. Yeah, Stitches said with a shrug. Witches never miss the fortune in a misfortune. Once they finished placing bets for the next lynx pool, all the girls changed into their black cloaks and striped stockings and went downstairs for breakfast. In the dining room, the invisible butler, imagine invisible butter, it's just like, shoop, 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 sorry. The invisible butler served them tarantula leg stew and squid egg smoothies. Oh, Lucy hadn't eaten since the day before, but watching the hairy legs floating in her bowl, she didn't think she would ever be hungry again. I agree. I don't want it. I know what you're thinking, Stitches said. It needs more salt. Lucy felt sick to her stomach and pushed her spoon aside. Are all the meals this, decadent? She asked. Oh, yeah. The butler is a wonderful cook, Sprout said. He also makes meatloaf, chicken and rice soup, stench fries, yak and bony cheese, beaver salad, fairy cake. Breathe, Sprout. Breathe. Sorry, I just like making lists, Sprout said, and then tapped herself on the head. It fills the space. Honestly, I can relate to Sprout. When the girls were through with breakfast, they gathered the graveyard outside and waited for Mistress Mara to join them. The sunlight was fading fast and the darker it got, the creepier and colder the graveyard became. The lynxes roamed through the grounds around them, and now that Lucy knew that they were all cursed people, their prying eyes seemed even more eerie than before. Which lynx do you think is Harriet? Pip asked. Lucy said as she glanced around. Oh, it's definitely that one. She pointed to a lynx that was lounging on a tombstone nearby. How can you tell? Pip asked. Because a cat's never given me such a dirty look before. Sure enough, the lynx was glaring at Lucy with a human-level hatred. Lucy felt horrible about what had happened to Harriet, and clearly Harriet blamed Lucy as much as Lucy blamed herself. It's ironic, Pip said. They say curiosity killed the cat, but curiosity actually turned Harriet into one. Harriet didn't appreciate that comment, and she hissed at the girls and then dashed to the other side of the graveyard. Well, at least she's not pussyfooting around her feelings, Lucy said. Once the light had completely faded from the sky, a cloud of smoke blew out of an open window, and the manor floated to the center of the graveyard. The smoke swirled into a tall vortex, and Mistress Mara appeared inside it. The witches applauded their teacher's entrance, but Lucy looked a little timid and stepped back. Welcome to Witchcraft, Mistress Mara declared with open arms. Tonight, Pip and Lucy will discover the talents they never knew that they possessed. And they'll begin their first day of their authentic lives. However, before becoming a student at the Ravencrest School of Witchcraft, your abilities will be put to the test. Lucy and Pip must pass 4 entrance exams that represent the fundamentals of witchcraft: jinxes, hexes, potions, and curses. Once you complete the exams, you'll be officiated into our sacred Ravencrest enrollment ceremony under the next full moon. And then you will continue your education with the others. Any questions? Pip raised her hand. Why does the enrollment ceremony only take place on the full moon? She asked. Oh, it's purely for tradition, Mistress Mara said, but the twinkle in her eye told another story. You're both in luck because the next full moon is only 2 days away. Some girls have to wait weeks for it to happen. Yeah, I had to wait 2 months because it was cloudy, Stitches said. Lucy raised her hand next. And, what happens if we don't pass our exams? She asked. Oh, well, then I'm afraid Ravencrest is not for you, and you'll be asked to leave, Mistress Mara said, but neither of you should worry about that. The exams are merely a precaution to make sure my students are capable and serious about witchcraft. We don't want any imposters roaming through Ravencrest, at least not on 2 legs. Mistress Mara threw her head back and cackled at the remark. Lucy and Pip exchanged an anxious glance along with her and then laughed along with her. Now, before we begin our first exam, I want you to forget everything you've been told about witchcraft, Mistress Mara said in a somber tone. It's commonly believed that witchcraft is a vile, cruel, and demonic alternative to magic, but that is just utter nonsense. You must unchain yourself from that. In truth, magic isn't any kinder, more pleasant, or more natural than witchcraft. It's simply just different. Like darkness to light, cold to heat, and death to life, witchcraft and magic have their own unique purposes and importances, and they cannot exist without one another. So, when someone says magic is better or worse, right or wrong, moral or immoral compared with witchcraft, they're not stating a fact, but they're just giving an opinion. And just because more people enjoy the daytime doesn't mean that night shouldn't exist. No, no, no. The planet needs the sun and the moon to work properly, so therefore the world needs witchcraft whether they like it or not. Mistress Mara motioned toward the manor, and the invisible butler emerged through the front door. He carried a hefty wooden chest into the graveyard and placed it on the ground in front of Lucy and Pip. The butler opened the chest, and the girls saw it was full of pots, pans, combs, and toothbrushes, tools and gears, pens and pencils, and several other household objects. Since fairies like to make improvements with magic to keep a harmonious balance, it's a witch's job to make impoverishments with witchcraft, Mistress Mara said. One of the ways we accomplish this is by performing jinxes. A jinx is an enchantment that temporarily alters an appearance, behavior, or function in a negative way. It usually lasts a couple of days and can be easily reversed with just a little magic. For your first examination, you will each select an object from the chest and jinx it to appear, behave, or function abnormally. Now, Pip, let's start with you. Pip was a little nervous, but mostly excited to do witchcraft for the first time. She dug through the chest and searched for the perfect object to bewitch. Eventually, Pip settled on a small hand mirror with a brass frame. She held it close to her chest and closed her eyes. She concentrated on how she wanted to jinx it. The hand mirror started to rust in her grip. And when Pip looked into it, instead of seeing her normal reflection, she saw the face of a wild boar. I did it, Pip cheered. I jinxed the mirror to show a hideous reflection. The witches gave Pip a polite round of applause. Holy scratch and sniff, Lucy exclaimed. Pip, look at your hands. The celebration was cut short when Pip glanced down. After performing the jinx, Pip's fingernails had grown 3 inches long and were as thick as animal claws. She screamed and dropped the mirror on the ground. Oh, what's happening to me? Pip shrieked. Don't be alarmed, dear, Mistress Mara said. It's just a little side effect of witchcraft, but fret not. Once you pass your entrance exam, your appearance will return to normal. Pip was very embarrassed of her new nails and hid her hands in her pockets. Lucy, honey, you're up next, Mistress Mara said. Lucy was afraid to follow the witch's instructions. She wasn't a stranger to causing damage, but she'd never caused harm intentionally or without good intentions. What would happen when she mixed her specialty with witchcraft? How horribly would it affect her appearance? Lucy wondered if she could pass the exam without performing a jinx. She found a watch at the bottom of the chest and came up with an idea. Hey, what's that over there? Lucy shouted. She theatrically pointed toward the gate at the edge of the property. All the witches turned around to see what Lucy was referring to, and while they were distracted, Lucy used her teeth to rip the dial off the side of the watch, and the gears stopped ticking. I don't see anything, Sprout said. What are you pointing at? Bibi asked. Sorry, it was probably one of those moving trees, Lucy said. Anyway, I finished my jinx. Behold, the watch is frozen in time. Lucy presented the broken watch to the witches, but they weren't really impressed. Stitches looked at the watch, took it from Lucy, and examined it with her big eye. Are you sure you used witchcraft to jinx this? She asked. Of course I did, Lucy lied. Then why didn't the witchcraft affect you like Pip? Phoebe asked. Yeah, you don't seem any uglier than you were before. Lucy groaned and adjusted her striped tights. Actually, I think a nasty wart just popped up. Believe me, you don't want to know where it is, she said. The witches weren't buying it. Mistress Mara wasn't convinced either, but surprisingly, she looked past Lucy's blatant dishonesty. Congratulations, ladies. You both passed the first examination, Mistress Mara said. Your next exam will be your hexing abilities. But the hexes are more challenging than jinxes. They require special participation. Mistress Mara whistled and the girls heard a loud bang. They turned toward the noise and saw brick and stone burst through the doors of the nearby mausoleum. The gargoyles dragged a man and a woman behind them whose hands and feet were trapped in chains. Brick and stone placed the prisoners on the ground in front of Mistress Mara and they trembled in her presence. Please don't hurt us, the man pleaded. We have children, the woman cried. Mistress Mara rolled her eyes. Oh, children, 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 she said. Why do people always bring up their children and they're caught doing something wrong? If you really had loved your children, you wouldn't have tried to steal from me in the first place. She snapped her fingers and the couple were silenced by 2 black cloths. Lucy had a horrible feeling in the pit of her stomach about whatever was going to happen next. This man and woman are grave robbers, and they were recently caught raiding the tombs on my property, Mistress Mara said. For your next examination, you will alter their appearance, behavior, or function with a hex. Now, a hex is just like a jinx, but it's applied to a living thing. Hexes can range in severity, but there's really no point if it's subtle or easily remedied. Remember, if it can be cured by a doctor, don't even bother. Pip, would you like to go first? Lucy could tell that Pip didn't want to hurt the couple, but she still wanted to prove herself to Mistress Mara. The grave robbers shook their heads and fumbled frantically, begging her to stop. But Pip stepped forward to the couple anyway and waved a hand over their frightened faces. The witches heard 2 pairs of pops, but couldn't tell what had changed. Am I missing something? Stitches asked. How did you hex them?
I gave them each 2 left feet.
Pip said. Sprout and Beebe removed the grave robber's shoes to be certain. The grave robbers let out a muffled scream when they saw Pip's enchantment. That's not so bad, Beebe said.
Are you kidding? Pip said. They won't be able to dance or walk in a straight line, and if there's an emergency, they're going to be running in circles for...
Pip went quiet when she felt something itchy under her nose. Unfortunately, the hex had caused long whiskers to grow on her upper lip. Pip was mortified and covered the whiskers with her hand. Never be ashamed of your accomplishments, dear, the witch said. Congratulations, Pip. You've passed your second examination. Lucy, it's your turn. But I don't want to hex them, Lucy said. Look, I know they tried to rob you, but they didn't do anything to me personally. You're very mistaken, Mistress Mara said. A crime against one witch is a crime against every witch. And it's important that we stand together and demand the world's respect. Without the hexes, people would have no reason to fear us. Now, go on. Lucy didn't know how she was going to get out of this one. The witches were watching her like hawks, and she reluctantly stepped toward the grave robbers and raised her hand in some of the most harmful yet painless hexes that she could muster. As if the grave robbers were being marked by invisible pens, the couple were suddenly covered in hundreds of awkward tattoos. Their skin was full of disproportionate animals, unflattering symbols, and motivational phrases that were misworded, like, live every day like it's your past. The glass is always half full, and knowledge is powder. The witches didn't know what to make of Lucy's strange hex. Even the grave robbers seemed more confused than scared. Lucy shrugged. What? It was the worst thing I could think of. While she defended herself, Lucy felt a strange tingle at the top of her forehead. She ran her fingers through her hair and felt something unusually soft in her bangs. The witches pointed and cackled at Lucy when they noticed it too. Hey, what's going on? Lucy gasped. What's wrong with my hair? The witchcraft gave you feathers, Stitches said. White feathers, Sprout said too. The glass is always half full needs to be on a t-shirt. It's very funny. It's very funny. I think we also could use a shirt that says knowledge is powder. Knowledge is powder. Or live every day like it's your past. It is.
Yeah, and they're fluffy too.
Lucy plucked a feather from her head and stared in utter horror. She retrieved Pip's mirror from the ground and saw that a patch of fluffy white feathers had appeared at the front of her hairline. Oh my God, Lucy cried. I look like a woodpecker. It could be worse, Pip said and pointed to her whiskers. Congratulations, Lucy. You've also passed the second exam, Mistress Mara said. Give me a moment to clear the supplies and we'll move on to the next exam. The witch twirled her fingers, and the grave robbers were suddenly surrounded in black smoke. As the smoke twirled around them, the couple was slowly transformed into lynxes. Once the transformation was complete, the chain slipped off their bodies, and the grave robbers dashed into the grave to join the other cursed felines. 2 jack-o'-lanterns with lifelike carvings of their faces appeared on the ground behind the couple. Put them with the others, Mistress Mara instructed the butler. The invisible servant scooped up pumpkins up off the ground and headed inside the manor. Moving on, Mistress Mara said. The next examination will test your potion brewing abilities. Unlike jinxes and hexes, the potion examination doesn't require witchcraft, but instead it will test your aptitude for following instructions and making measurements. The witch was interrupted by the sound of galloping. In the distance, the witch saw someone approaching the manor on a black horse. Whoever it was, Lucy assumed they weren't a stranger to Ravenquest because neither the tree nor the gargoyles tried to stop them. When the visitor reached the iron fence, the gate automatically swung open and the horses entered the graveyard. As the visitor rose closer, Lucy got her first good glimpse. It was a man, wearing a red suit that shimmered in the dark, and his identity was hidden behind a mask shaped like a ram's skull. The man dismounted his horse, tied the reins to a gravestone, and then approached Mistress Mara. The witch was anything but happy to see the visitor. In fact, his presence had made her tense. It was the first time Lucy had seen Mistress Mara look uncomfortable. Without saying a word to him, Mistress Mara nodded toward the manor, and the man headed toward the front door. Oh, forgive me, ladies, the witch told the girls. We'll have to finish your entrance exams another time. I'll see you after dusk tomorrow. Mistress Mara followed the man inside the manor without saying another word. Who was that? Pip asked the witches. We're not sure, Sprout said. We just call him the Horned One. He visits Mistress Mara every so often, but she's never told us anything about him. He gives me the creeps, Phoebe said. Me too, Stitches said, her eyes fluttered. It's so attractive. What are we supposed to do now that Mistress Mara is busy? Pip asked. Well, if I were you, I'd search the grounds for some spotted fungi and purple-leaved shrubbery, Sprout suggested. They might be helpful for your examination tomorrow. They always give potions a little extra kick. Thanks for the tip, Lucy said. But first, I'm going to go inside and try to do something about these feathers. Lucy returned to the manor on her own and headed to the witch's bedroom. She was fairly familiar with the layout by now, but still the labyrinth of staircases and bridges and hallways was always tricky to navigate by herself. She was halfway across the corridor on the 4th floor when out of nowhere, the corridor started spinning. It spun so fast that Lucy became dizzy and hung to the wall to stay on her feet. When the corridor finally came to a stop, it led to a completely different part of the manor than it normally did. What the heck was that about? Lucy asked, but no one was there to answer her. Once she regained her bearings, Lucy found a circular chamber at the end of the corridor that she had never seen before. The chamber had 13 doors that were all different shapes and sizes. As soon as Lucy took her first step inside the chamber, a door slammed shut behind her, locking her inside. She tried to go back out, but the door wouldn't budge. Hello? Lucy called. Is someone there? She pounded on the door, but there was no response. All right, this isn't funny anymore. Who's doing this? Is that you, Stitches? Still, no one replied. In fact, Lucy didn't hear a single sound coming from another soul. It was as if the manor itself was playing a practical joke on her. Lucy checked all the doors in the chamber, but all of them were locked. Just when she thought she would be trapped in the chamber forever, one of the doors suddenly opened on its own. Without anywhere else to go, Lucy cautiously peeked through the open doorway and found a familiar hallway on the other side. It was the hall outside of Mistress Mara's study. Before Lucy could turn around, the door slammed shut and pushed her into the hallway. No, I cannot be here, Lucy whispered. Whoever is doing this, you gotta let me back in. If I get caught anywhere near the 7th floor, Mistress Mara is going to... And then suddenly Lucy heard footsteps coming from the study. She quickly dashed to the corner of the hallway and hid behind a scaled armchair. The Horned One stormed out of the study and Mistress Mara chased after him. Wait, don't leave, she pleaded. I've given you months and you've given me nothing. But we're so close. We can't stop now. There is no we. Our alliance is over. The horned one spoke in a soft yet commanding whisper, but the horns of his mask amplified his voice to the volume of a scream. I understand your frustration, but I'm telling you, the curse is going to work this time, Mistress Mara said. This one's different. She was born to be the host, and the next full moon is a blood moon. When it reaches the center of the night sky for a few brief moments, all of witchcraft will be heightened. I cannot waste any more time, he said. The clan is growing restless. If they lose their faith in me, I will lose everything. Yeah, but you will gain nothing if we don't work together, Mistress Mara said. You do your part, and I'll do mine. By this time next week, you and I will be unstoppable. King Champion the 14th will be gone, and the fairy godmother will be dead, and mankind will finally be held accountable for what they've done to us. Lucy covered her mouth to silently gasp. Mistress Mara had got the horned one's attention now, and he stopped in his tracks. How much longer for the curse? He asked. 3 days, she said. And you're certain it'll take? Positive. The horned one seethed and clenched his fists as he considered his options. Very well, he said. But if you're wrong about this curse, I'll send the clan after you and your students. The Brotherhood will need something to occupy their time while I find another partner. After the warning was issued, the horned one proceeded down the hallway and disappeared from sight. Once he was gone, Mistress Mara's face filled with fear, and she let out a desperate sigh. The witch returned to her study and locked the door behind her. Lucy was so overwhelmed by what she had just witnessed that she felt like she was spinning in the corridor all over again. She had no idea how or why she had ended up in the hallway outside of Mistress Mara's study again, but she was glad that she had. Hearing that Bristol's life was in danger made all of Lucy's bitterness toward her fade away. The hard feelings were replaced with an urgency to return to the fairy territory and inform the fairy council about everything she had just learned. However, as Lucy planned her departure, she had a sudden change of heart. Wait a second. I don't need the fairy council. I don't need their help with this. I'm gonna save the day this time, she whispered to herself. I'll stay at Ravencrest, figure out exactly what Mistress Mara is up to, and then I'm gonna stop her. And once I do, Bristol and the fairies will beg me to come back. Lucy nodded confidently. This was her moment to shine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, no good. Bad, bad, not good. Bad, 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 bad. This is all bad. There was nothing good in this chapter. I mean, it was beautifully written. Chris, if you're watching, we love you. We love everything you write. I love every word that comes out of your pen. You're phenomenal. Nothing good happened in this chapter. Really? Ooh, that's interesting, Jen. Do you think the horn guy's the prince? I've never hexed anyone. Why do I have whiskers? That's funny, Becca. Very bad, bad, not good. Very bad, bad, not good. Do we think the horned guy is the prince, Prince Maximus, whatever, who was at the wedding? That's a very good question. It could be.